and welcome back. I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas and is still enjoying the festivities that will be ongoing until the new year. And of course, I wish everyone a happy new year as well if I don't put out a video before then. Of course, there is plenty of stuff happening at the moment within the crypto markets, so I wanted to jump in and have a look at some of this. The first thing I wanted to have a quick look at is the current state of the crypto market, and we'll look at Bitcoin in particular. I'm over on Glassnode's website. They've got various different tools. This one being navigating market tops and bottoms. On the right hand side in the black line, we can see the Bitcoin price in US dollars on a daily time frame over the last couple of years, actually all the way back to 2013. And there's two different moving averages that have been plotted on this chart. And they are effectively saying this tool was created by Philip Swift as a tool for long-term investors, indicating periods where prices are likely approaching cyclical tops or bottoms. As many people are probably familiar with that approach to investing in cryptocurrencies, the tool uses two simple moving averages of price as the basis for under or overvalued situations. This being the 2-year moving average, which is the green line we see, and a 5x multiple of the 2-year moving average in red. So in the green, it has historically generated outsized returns, so an alpha over the rest of the market, and signaled bear cycle lows. And in the red has been historically signaled bull cycle tops and a zone where investors tend to de-risk. So we can see this 5x moving average here, as we saw the cycle top in 2018 sort of time, and then we can see the de-risk taking shape. And then the green line, effectively the price moves below the green line, signaling a buying opportunity of outsized proportion, potentially, of course. And then as we've moved forward, we've made new highs, which we didn't actually quite cross this 5x moving average, which I guess was fairly anticipated by a majority of people across the crypto space. A lot of people were calling for a much higher all-time high than we had seen at the end of 2021. Regardless, looking at the latest section of this time frame, of course, end of 2022, we can see we are firmly beneath that 2-year moving average, the green line, potentially signaling that this is a good buying opportunity for Bitcoin and the wider crypto markets, those blue chip altcoins that we talk about an awful lot on this channel. Anyway, take this with a pinch of salt. Just wanted to look at some macro stuff for the markets, and of course Bitcoin being the lead indicator, let's be real, for majority of the crypto space. I'm continuing to dollar cost average into those positions at the moment. HBAR and other cryptocurrencies like Quant are in fantastic buying zones, of which I am just continually adding to my position, continuing to solidify those averages in the notion that potentially throughout 2023, 2024 and 2025, there could be some very significant returns for these projects based on their long-term sort of project portfolios and the different integrations they are looking to achieve over time. Jumping into some sort of more headline news then from 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗅, 44,444 Bitcoin, roughly $745 million, has been taken off exchanges in the last 30 days. Now, typically we do tend to see this when people are looking to hold for the long term. This is going to lead to less volatility, and potentially due to having less supply on the sell side because it's being removed from those exchanges, we could see some price appreciation take shape. Of course, Bitcoin at the moment is bouncing off of those lower lows that we have seen over the last sort of 4 to 8 week period, and this could continue throughout 2023. Of course, me personally, I think a lot of people, including major institutions, are looking at those interest rates as a signal for when to re-enter these markets. Regardless, that is a good sign that we are seeing liquidity exit these exchanges, particularly because we'd seen a test, almost a mini bank run, take place on Binance, which it appears to have shrugged off so far, indicating the majority of the rumors were just FUD or fear, uncertainty and doubt. Some more bullish news though, Japan is set to unban foreign issued stablecoins such as USDT in 2023, and this probably follows suit with what the rest of the APAC region itself, so the Asia Pacific region, is doing. Of course, we all know South Korea is a major proponent of cryptocurrency adoption and utilization, and it looks like Japan does not want to be left behind the curve when it comes to the remainder of its fellow countries in that region. Bullish news regardless. We can also see $9.6 trillion asset manager Fidelity files a trademark application for an NFT marketplace, and crypto trading services. And this, of course, goes hand in hand with some of those other major asset managers moving into the space, filing different trademark applications for either exchanges or different commodity services revolving around cryptocurrencies. This is going to be a trend that we'll see continue to grow throughout 2023 and now into the future, where some of these large asset managers come into the space and begin opening up crypto offerings to their institutional clients. In fact, there were some different keynotes that came out from JP Morgan recently saying that there is an incredibly small proportion at the moment of their institutional investors and high wealth clients that are actually invested in cryptocurrencies. And of course, that is reflected by the overall market cap that we see. Don't forget, cryptocurrency is still in its infancy when you compare the total global market capitalization versus things like equity or real estate worldwide. I think this may be one of the final nails in the coffin for Solana. I did put some tweets out recently, and I've also covered Solana several times on the channel, talking about its security and sustainability going forward. And of course, it being backed by venture capital, they have made some decisions which go against the grain in terms of what retail investors would have wanted in order to grow their user base quickly at the expense of security. Well, now 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦 holders can expect to migrate their NFTs away from Solana sometime next quarter. If Ethereum is where we have to go to keep growing, it's what we have to do, said the creator 𝗟𝗜𝗦𝗖𝗟𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗠. And then Charlene has the details. Flicking over, there is actually an article here on FX Street that I found. Solana NFT projects abandon the network for Ethereum. 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦 and 𝗡𝗏s announced their departure. So we can see here they'll bridge to Ethereum in the first quarter of 2023, and 𝗡𝗏s will bridge across to Polygon. Based on a recent report by Token Terminal, active developers on the Solana network witnessed a steep decline of 90% across 2022. So we can see majority of those experienced developers are flocking to other networks outside of Solana due to several different incidents that we experienced throughout 2022. And of course, I covered majority of those on the channel and highlighted the different risks associated with Solana. Solana price is at a risk of steep decline. A drop to the monthly low of $10.94 is likely for the Ethereum alternative. Solana is still considered the second largest NFT ecosystem in the world. Interestingly, the Ethereum alternative is in a tough spot, with digital collectible projects leaving its network for competitors. The outlook on Solana remains bearish in 2022, and I don't personally see things changing in 2023 at the current rate of decline that we are seeing across the ecosystem. There is a sheer lack of development and security taking place on Solana, and I think people should steer well clear of a chain which has no interest in protecting its users. Flicking across, wanted to cover some news on Quant, and of course I'll touch on Hedera towards the end of the video, but Quant name a more successful project in 2022. I'll leave people in the comments to fight this one out between Quant and Hedera. Of course, I love them both as much as one another, but 74% headcount growth in 2022, 22 software upgrades plus the QRC20, engineering scaling taking place, blockchain courses at King's College, and development of the LAC chain. Nothing compares to what Quant has achieved in 2022. And we see that's off the back of a tweet from Quant saying, "We had a strong year in 2022, establishing many foundational activities helping our customers realize their ambitions for digital assets and tokenization." And 𝗟𝗜𝗏𝗡𝗏 did share his top 8 accomplishments for the year. And I think it is well put as well. Quant has had a fantastic year throughout 2022, similar to Hedera in terms of building behind the scenes during this bear market. There have been very few chains which have been able to successfully take advantage of a bear market and continue compounding its achievements in order to have a sustained growth into the future, particularly for things like enterprise use cases and adoption, which personally, for me, will be one of the main driving factors behind large-scale market caps of cryptocurrency projects in the future. Utility will become king across the crypto space, and things like meme coins and meme projects and tokens and sort of heavily venture capital backed chains and projects will probably fall to the wayside to these things which actually have sheer utility at changing the way current operations are being completed. And of course, as well, there's only, talking about the tokenomics of Quant, there's only 108,000 people holding an asset with only 12 million units of supply. I don't care what the market says, QNT. Of course, Quant itself has some astonishingly fantastic tokenomics. I have several videos on the channel talking about it. But you guys can dig into the figures yourselves. 12 million in supply with only 108,000. Many people talk about Quant as potentially being one of the easiest ways to become a millionaire going into the future, of course. You shouldn't hold anyone to that. You should be doing your own research. But in terms of sheer tokenomics, it enables some very aggressive price appreciation where we could see the Quant token venture out into the thousands of dollars per token, similar of course to Bitcoin. Bitcoin only having 21 million units of supply. Quant has nearly half that at 12 million units of supply. You can do the math there to work out what the sort of terminal price for the Quant token could potentially be, particularly when we see up to trillions of dollars entering the market over the next 5 to 10 years from institutions when they come into the space. Rounding up the video then, let's jump across and talk about our old faithful Hedera. Obviously, many people recently have been a bit disheartened about the sort of a lack of attention that's being focused on Hedera, but they are still quietly building behind the scenes. And the major question which still remains is, where the hell are the use cases? Now, there's an interesting thread over here that took place on Twitter where 𝗟𝗜𝗙𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣 did respond to someone called 𝗟𝗜𝗙𝗘𝗘𝗧𝗠 saying, did you read the blog? Based on feedback from our grantees, we are estimating 80 projects or circa 80 projects to go live in Q1 of 2023. So based on what Shane has said and based on what was written inside the Hedera blog, 80 projects that have been issued grants by the HBAR Foundation or the Hedera Foundation are reporting that they will be hitting the green button and launching their use cases on the Hedera Live mainnet in Q1 of 2023. Now, whether or not all full 80 are fully aligned and they're hitting all their different keystones and milestones in order to actually go live, let's just look at the sheer scale of this. In terms of 80 projects, even if we had a 50% success rate for launch in Q1, 20, 30, 40%, we're still looking at 8, 16, 24, 32, up to 40 different projects that could potentially be going live on Hedera's mainnet in Q1 of 2023. And that, of course, is a high level of transactions, particularly if some of those use cases are the much larger scale ones that we have featured on the channel several times in the past. We've already seen 𝗟𝗏.io stress test the testnet and more recently very closely stress test the mainnet, of where we saw them pushing thousands of transactions per second on the mainnet for an extended period of time, for up to 8 hours at times. And of course, that was probably part of their final testing before they pushed the green button in order to fully deploy to the mainnet. And of course, once they've done that, that then solidifies their approach going forward in terms of ramping up those transactions on Hedera. And the same probably goes for the likes of Coupon Bureau and the majority of other of the large use cases that I've covered on this channel in the past. Fingers crossed some of those projects are within that 80 that is being said by Shane, and we will see those go live in Q1 of 2023. This is of course going to be a watch this space kind of moment, and it will be a major turning point for the Hedera mainnet when we see these use cases fully go live. And of course, it is going to draw a hell of a lot of attention once we are pushing that many transactions. Unfortunately, it's just a waiting game. Corporations can be incredibly slow at deploying things, and delays can take place. And as you can see here, feedback from our grantees. This has nothing to do with Hedera. This has everything to do with the projects that are actually building on Hedera themselves. Wanted to look at activity as well. So the GitHub daily development activity, I'm not sure what time frame this was over, potentially on the day that this was released, so the 16th of December, so 11 days or so ago from me filming this. But in terms of the number of different commits and activities taking place on the chain's GitHubs, so we can see some large-scale altcoins here. Cardano obviously having an awful lot of different activities happening, 804. But I also wanted to look at Hedera here, obviously being much smaller in market cap compared to a lot of these projects that are being listed here. Of course, you've got Hedera, Filecoin, Cosmos, Polkadot, Decentraland, Cardano, all with much larger market caps than Hedera. But Hedera has actually hit this list at number 8 at 388. So there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. All those different HIPs or Hedera improvement proposals that are taking place and being worked on in order to further move forward Hedera Hashgraph for the future. Rounding up then, wanted to sort of finish up on a very large announcement that we had from SourceSwap Labs. Merry Christmas. Hedera SourceSwap is now integrated as an exchange on CoinGecko, meaning all HTS tokens on our DEX can be easily listed on one of the largest data aggregators in crypto. We've prepared simple instructions to get listed on here. So we can see SourceSwap DEX is now on CoinGecko. Tokens in default and extended lists can now be tracked on one of the most popular data aggregators. Of course, SourceSwap's token Source has been listed on CoinMarketCap for a while now, but this obviously enables those other HTS tokens that are being built on top of Hedera to be listed directly on CoinGecko, which is a great alternative to CoinMarketCap, and again further increases the exposure to more retail and potentially institutional investors alike going forward. More metrics, more data about the ecosystem, of course, is great for more eyes on the ecosystem, and SourceSwap is clearly putting themselves at the center, as we'd seen before, the price oracle of Hedera, and they are living up to those expectations people have got. Anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, drop a comment if you've got something to say, make sure you're subscribed, and you also hit that notification bell to be notified. Some different things happening on YouTube, potentially some algorithm changes. I know my videos aren't getting pushed to everyone's homepages all the time. And of course, I am active on Twitter if you want to follow me at 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏